Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason. Jason will be joining us momentarily. We have a big move in precious metals. No one should be surprised. Jay Powell, just as he came out and they raised rates as we expected by 1/4 point, didn't necessarily say pause, but they're pausing. But right out of the gate, first two sentences out of his mouth, the banking system is sound, and if they're going to continue to lie, it's going to continue to be a problem. The bank runs have started again. I know that's not what we want to hear. These guys, and again, I've said it for how long? He's not the man for the job, or is he? Because, again, if this is what you want to have happen, this is I guess he is the man for the job. And unfortunately, the list of banks in trouble is growing. We'll bring that all to you. 800-951-0592. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. A lot of new people. And I get it, right? They're starting to wake up. They're starting to realize, we're almost like a psychiatrist in here, because a lot of these people were like, "Oh no, I just thought you guys were crazy. I didn't think this was actually going to happen. I actually thought they fixed it. With Dodd-Frank and too big to fail. I didn't think this could happen again, and yet here it is. And a lot of it, it's like, the wife's on board, but the husband isn't. Or the husband is on board, the wife isn't. And they still, for a lot of people, buying gold seems crazy. Because that's what the TV wants you to believe. That's what the financial planners, the bad ones, want you to believe. Why? Because you just put it in stocks and everything's going to be great. It's not going to be great. So I keep telling everybody, please, with the money you're not buying gold with, call my son. I keep trying to tell you, Northwestern Mutual is not a bank. That is a huge difference. There's a reason why he's there. It's a huge difference. They've got products that you can invest in that have no correlation to Wall Street, just like our friends at Y Refi. This is where you need to be right now. I'm going to give out his number again, 602-909-9048. Gold has hit a new all-time high this morning. It's been as high as 2085. Now, I didn't see 2085. That probably was in the middle of the night when we were all sleeping. But gold, 2,060 right now, up like 25. Most of the morning here, it's been up $25 to $30. Silver at $26 right now. And unfortunately, it looks like things will continue to trend higher. We got some, we'll get to Jay Powell and the banks, but we had some economic data out. We had jobless claims today. It was up 13,244,000 first-time jobless claims. So it stayed below that 250, got awfully close. But I'll say this. If it wasn't for New York, and I don't know, who knows? They had they had a huge increase, I should say a huge decrease in jobless claims. If it wasn't for them, the number was going to be 260,000, which was, that puts us right into the warning zone. And everyone's got to remember tomorrow we get government jobs number. Everybody's expecting the lowest number in several years. We'll have to wait to see there. If we get one of these numbers and low 100,000 type number, we'll probably see gold challenge $2,100, right? And again, the pattern is here. It's pretty easy to see right now. There's a lot of catalysts for why you need to be in the gold market. Listen, and a lot of you, I had people in here yesterday, and they just tell me this stuff. Joe, we got over $1 million in the bank, in one bank. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? You have to be smarter than that. And of course, it's, my husband's not on board. You got to start small. Start small. You got to start taking steps to get ready. People telling me, one person tell me, they took, and these people, and I don't ask, hey, how old are you? But you can tell, hey, they're in their, if I was to guess, they were in their mid-60s. Took almost $1 million loss in their portfolio last year. What are you doing? This is exactly what my son keeps telling you. Don't take these losses. It really is great. Listen, I don't guess. Jason isn't guessing. Right? We do a lot. I spent a lot of time research. I know what I'm talking about. And you need to wake up. The problem isn't fixed. Matter of fact, it's getting worse again. Oh, man, I know it's tough. Hang in there. We'll get it. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, we're coming back after the break. Eight 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Thursday. Quick look here at the markets. The Dow is down 300 points. The S&P is down 18. The Nasdaq's down 18 as well. Gold right now, hey, it's a little lower. It's going to be a lot higher. Up 17, 2053, 2054. Silver up 46 cents right now, 48 cents, 25.96. This market recap brought to you by our friends at Y-Refi. Listen, I've given you so many good options to be smart here. You need to have gold and silver. Everybody does. Everybody does. You need to. Listen, I tell you what, what's the right amount? An ounce of gold for every year you've been alive. An ounce of gold for every year your spouse has been alive. Every year your kids have been alive, your grandkids. That's what you're going to need. And if you can't get there, do the best you can to get there. And then you know what? Hey, I told you where to go. Go to Joey, go to Northwestern Mutual. It is the most sound financial institution there is, and they're not a bank. And they got great products that don't even have to deal with Wall Street. And then, of course, our great friends at Y-Refi. Do they care about PacWest Bank? Nope. They care about a Western Alliance or First Horizon or Zions or any of them? No. Do they care that Jay Powell's a patsy? Up to 10.25% return, which is great. Obviously, it's kind of cool because it's the greater good here, right? It's these banks, these same banks that stuck it to these kids when they were 18, 19 years old. Most of them, they roped mom and dad or grandpa and grandpa into co-signing for these private student loans. And then the second they missed a payment, bam. Well, Y-Refi, they look at all of these. And they determine, hey, you know what? Gosh, if someone, look at this kid's had a job for 5 years, 10 years. Man, if someone would just give them a break, they could make a payment easy. Matter of fact, the average student loan debt repayment at Y-Refi, 8.5 years, they get it all paid off. Heck, most people don't do that now. You know how many people I know, they're in their 50s still paying? Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or call 888-Y-REFI-24. And Jason, just like we said, once again, remember I said it the other day, I'll take you and me against Jay Powell any day of the week, and I promise you we're going to be right a lot more than that guy is. And his first sentence out was, the banking system is sound and resilient. And today, Jason, we've got another crisis brewing.
Yeah, gold is tickling around that all-time high. So if you're listening today, gold is near record highs. When I woke up this morning, it was a little lower than I guess Joe said overnight. It had breached some bigger numbers. But I don't even know why Janet Yellen and some of these others throughout the last few months, they keep wanting to say this. I mean, I guess you don't want people to panic. I guess that's it. Is that what it is? Because there's always the guy in the emergencies like, everyone stay calm, don't panic. But if the tidal wave is coming, it's just really staying calm doesn't really do it. You got to find a boat, right? So I don't know why they say that stuff, Joe. I don't know why they want to keep talking about how sound the banking industry is, because it's just not.
Well, confidence, right? Listen, I get it. I get why he says it. I mean, could you imagine? Wall Street would probably be, right now, Wall Street would be shut off right now because it would be down lock limit if Jay Powell came out and said, hey, the banking system isn't sound. But how can you sit there and say it's sound when I told you half the banks are insolvent right now? That's just how it is. That's a fact. It's not a lie. It's a fact. This morning, here we go again. Pac West, down 60%, $3 in change. They're done. Okay, right now they've admitted that, hey, we're trying to find somebody to buy us, talking about a stock rate. Listen, nobody's buying you, right? Nobody is. Western Alliance. So and this is a local, this is an Arizona bank. And again, I'm not so certain that it's really all their. Now, did they do the greatest job? No, but these weren't. Listen, this isn't Silicon Valley. Those guys were just clowns. Western Alliance is denying a report that it's trying to sell itself, and again, doesn't matter. First Horizon. Now, this is a bank that was on the naughty list a month ago. They got bought. Well, they thought they got bought by TD, right? You know, again, one of these non-banks, right? TD, the trading platform. They backed out this morning, Jason. TD said, well, hey, we were going to buy you, and I want to say it was somewhere along the line of, and I want to be right here. Yeah, $13.4 billion. They just backed out today. First Horizon shares now crashing. Just to give you an idea, Pac West and Western Alliance put those two together, and we've got another First Republic. Okay, this is another First Republic. The two of them together, about $100 billion. Now you've got First Horizon, and I don't know exactly yet what their exposure is, but they've got over 400 banks and branches, 1.1 million individual and business customers across 12 states. So, Jason, this looks like another fairly decent-sized bank, but if that wasn't enough, it's worse. And this is the part we didn't want. Pac West shares are now halted again. This was very common yesterday. I want to say yesterday it got halted a dozen different times. Western Alliance halted once again now, as again they're trying to stem the flows here, but now all of a sudden, Jason, it is starting to spread, and this is kind of what we were worried about. Is it going to spread, and is it going to spread to some of these bigger banks, and that is exactly what it looks like is started to happen here. And again, I think we're going to have to watch as some of these systemically important banks now are starting to crack. And again, it doesn't even have to be a U.S. bank, but it looks like who was it that bought Credit Suisse? I'm drawing a blank now.
Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, Joe. Yes.
How can I not remember?
There's just a lot of information, Joe. You get all the names and places of these things; they get all tangled up. And but yeah,
UBS, there it is.
UBS, there you go.
They are now starting to see big liquidations out of UBS. Everybody, again, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. You need to be under the 250. Please. And understand this. Well, I've got my money market there. And I bought a CD there. And I got a savings account there. And I got a check. They add that crap all together. They add it all together. This is critical. And even 250 is too much. And I'm going to lay it out for you. Okay, we know right now, based on what the FDIC has already committed, they have somewhere around $50 billion left. That is it. Now, they do have a quote-unquote line of credit with the Treasury Department for $100 billion. Well, here's the problem. We're in the debt ceiling right now. Unfortunately, the Treasury doesn't have $100 billion to give them. Now, sooner or later, that debt ceiling is going to get raised. It better be soon. Because with PacWest, with Western Alliance, right, First Horizon, Zions, right, Jason, we could see the FDIC essentially be out of money really quickly here.
You know, maybe the debt ceiling doesn't get fixed right away, Joe. We know that when this thing really starts to crash and burn, the Fed's going to want something to point the finger at, whether that be some war emergency or a pandemic emergency or something, right? So why not point the finger at the government? The government is told to lock tight and don't raise the ceiling. How much of an emergency would that cause, Joe? How much could they blame the government then instead of blaming the financiers, the Fed, and the central banks?
Yeah, and again, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at 5 things at once here as we're trying to keep track of what is happening. But I think the biggest news today really has to be what's happening in Europe right now, where it appears that a full-fledged bank run may be occurring on a bank that, let's face it, cannot happen. Dude, it can't. I mean, I don't know what these clowns are going to do. And here's the problem. The ECB raised rates today as well. Right? I mean, how dumb are these guys? I told you 6 weeks ago, Jay Powell made another policy mistake. How many mistakes do you get before you get fired?
Joe, I don't know if they have information let's just say that shows that Europe's going to go into hyperinflation, then I guess it kind of isn't the wrong move, is it? I mean, I think these guys have information ahead of time that can tell them the worst problem, and we've known for several years it's coming really close that they don't have a good place to go. So if they have inflation information that looks really, really bad, then raising rates, I guess, is not the wrong decision, Joe. I mean, there's just not a right decision.
Yeah, there's not, well, you know what? There's not a lot of good decisions. Here's an easy decision. Buy some gold and silver, put it away. That's an easy decision. That's an easy one.
Buy it before it gets past the record high. You know, if it gets past the record high, who knows where it goes?
Right? And again, I don't know what's going to happen here. It sure looks like to me that PacWest and Western Alliance and maybe now First Horizon here, they could all be done by this weekend. I hope not, but that's what it looks like. UBS, their stock is getting crushed today, which just we know what that means. Big guys are taking their money and they're going somewhere else. Put some gold and silver away and then wait. Listen, this is going to take a while. This is not going to be over, July 1st. Problem solved. No. The second half of this year, listen to me. The second half of this year is going to be ugly. UGLY, ugly. And it is going to be ugly for the debt markets. It is going to be ugly for the banks. And when it's ugly for the banks stop lending. And when the bank stops lending, the economy crashes. Remember, think about how moronic these guys were. Jay Powell invented disinflation and was talking about, hey, there may not even be a soft landing. We're not even gonna land this thing. Listen, this thing is in a nosedive, right? This is Maverick and Goose in a tailspin.